everybody, and it's Ilvi here. This is another video in the series of tips and tricks for riders on how to improve your posture. My last tips and tricks video was about the position of the pelvis and it showed me having a piece of a lesson that I had with Ben Brunderup where we explored the direction of the pubic bone and the tailbone, and I also spoke there about the width of the seat bones. And after that video I got several questions. One of the questions was from Bianca, who asked me, how do I measure the distance between my seat bones and how do I know if I am wide in my seat bones or if I'm actually narrow? My working students here in this table asked me the same question, so we decided to do a little measuring session. The measuring method that I use is simple, but it's not the most accurate one. So it is important, if you want to be really sure and you want to have it like on the millimeter precise, that you choose a different way to measure your seat bones. A more sophisticated way is to take cardboard, the ones that have this little wave inside the cardboard, so that if you sit on it, it leaves an imprint. And if you put that under your bottom and you sit on a hard flat stool, then you will see the imprints of your seat bones in the cardboard. You can mark the middle of those imprints and measure the distance in between. The way I do it is a little bit less accurate, but very fast. So it gives you an idea, but it's not very precise. Have fun watching this video on how we measure our behinds. And hopefully that will answer your question, Bianca, and from some of the other people that were wondering if they are wide or narrow. This is how you can check. Have fun. And so Bianca asked me, how do I know if I have wide seat bones or narrow seat bones? And so there is not really an easy answer to that, because if you look at how the seat bones are shaped, they are actually like a U shape. So the front part of the seat bones is much closer together than the middle part. Yeah. So how wide you are in the seat bones depends kind of on where you measure. And of course the part that we want to measure is the part where we're sitting on top. So what you're going to do is, while you sit on a wooden stool or something hard and flat, and you put your feet on the floor with your knees in a 90-degree angle, you're going to put your hands under your seat bones. And with your finger, you're going to find the point where you really sit. And then you will get up, show me your behind, and I will just take the measuring tape and measure the distance between those 2 points. So I will take my working student Steffi and ask her, can you please come and sit on the chair next to me?
Yes.
And what you're going to do is just put your hands with your fingers up, like the hand palms up under your seat bones.
Mm-hmm.
And with your index fingers, try to find the part where you feel, yeah, this is really where I sit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you have it?
Yeah.
Then get up without moving your fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and just maybe face to the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very elegant part of the video. I will measure the distance. You're 10 centimeters. Plus or minus. Because
Okay.
of course this is not the most sophisticated way.
Yeah.
But then you have a little bit of an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And do you understand, if you roll a little bit forward, your fingers automatically have to move a little bit closer together, because the rails of your seat bones
Yeah.
are kind of pointing
Yeah.
towards each other. So the more you sit on the back of your seat bones, the bigger the distance is. You see, now you are 12, so you changed a little bit the place where you put your fingers.
Okay, so I changed my position.
So the same thing, make sure before you find it that you really do have your feet on the ground and that you're sitting balanced in a good way. Yeah, then the hands like this. You already tried to find it before, I saw. Yes, yes, then stand up and bend a little bit forward. Yeah. Let's see, from one finger to the next. So you see, you're a little bit narrower. You have 8.5, according to this one.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So the next part of the story then. Why is it important to know how wide you are in the seat bones? Well, actually, before I go to that part, there's another thing that you need to know. It's not only the distance of the seat bones that determines how comfortable you are in the saddle. it is also the length of the neck of the femur. So this part of your upper leg bone, that is really important. With some people, this part is longer, making your upper leg bone come out not here, but maybe here.
Oh, okay.
Which gives you a wider space between your inner thighs. Yeah, because of course on the inside you have your muscles here and the fat and the skin. So there's a certain space between your upper legs. And if the neck of the femur is longer, your upper legs are further away from each other. And that also defines how wide a horse you can fit between your legs. Yeah? The problem is this one we can't really measure. Because you really need to look at the skeleton and measure it. You can't measure it like this. Then you really need to get an X-ray to see it. So in general we don't know. But if this one is very short, it means that your upper legs come out very close to like the width of your pelvis. Yeah? And that makes it very hard to fit a wider horse in it. Because when we put a horse between our legs, this needs to happen. And of course, when this piece is longer, you get much more opening of the legs than when this thing is really narrow. Yeah, because then you don't have so much space also here for this opening to happen, because this bone will get very close to that bone. Yeah? So that's another thing, like how wide a horse or how wide a pad can you have between your legs. So if you're very narrow here and you're very narrow in the neck of your femur, you simply don't have so much space to fit a wide horse or a wide pad or saddle in between.
I have so much space.
You know that?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Did you get an X-ray made, or did you just know it from experience?
From experience, when I ride big horses, I can't sit on them because it's too wide.
Yeah, and this is a very good point that you make, because when you are in the maximum opening, then you can't move anymore. So you can't move a little bit out and in and out and in and out and in, because you're out and you're pressed out, so you're forced to stay there and you have no movement left.
Okay.
So this is why we are looking for something in the middle, so that we can kind of close our legs and that we can open our legs at the same time, or not at the same time, but in the same way. And this is very limited if you are already forced to the maximum. Yeah, good point. So I will get the pad.
Really good reason.
Yeah, so basically when you know how wide or narrow you are, you can make decisions on how wide or narrow you should get your horse and your saddle.
Yes.
So if you look at the Brandenburg pad, it is kind of round, but with the stuffing that you can change here yourself, you can stuff it more to the sides and make it a little bit more wide and flat, or you can take some stuffing, for example, out here to make it a little bit more like a V shape, or if you want to level your pelvis front side to back side, you can put a little bit more in the front so that your pelvis tips a little bit more backwards, or you can put a little bit more from behind so that your pelvis tips a little bit more forward. In the end, you want to level it so that your pelvis is vertical, and you want to make sure that both seat bones are supported by the seat of your pad. So you can imagine this is an average person, this works very well, but if you were much wider, then your seat bones fall to the sides of the seat and then it's not so comfortable anymore. The problem is if you make it too wide, then you get problems with this neck of the femur. Because if it's too wide, then it may start to force your legs out, blocking the movement that you can make in your seat.
Okay.
So you need to have a free movement of your upper legs while being supported with your seat bones. And it's this balance that we need to find. The saddle needs to be wide enough to support the seat bones, but not so wide that it blocks the movement of your hip. And this is why with this pad it's so perfect, because after it, when you have made it flat enough to support your seat bones, you can make it run kind of well down. There's nothing here, so nothing here is pushing your leg out. A lot of Berwick pads are not only thick here, they are the same thickness down here with traagschuim, traagschaum, what is it, memory foam, or with wool or whatever, and then you may be supported in your seat bones, but at the same time you may, with the narrow neck of the femur, get blocked here. Yeah. And this pad gives you the optimum support. I have to be careful not to damage it with my terrible seat bones here, because there's no padding between. It gives you the optimal support for the seat bones in the width that you need, where at the same time give you the freedom for your upper leg to move the way you want. So that's why this pad is so good.